The thing that we want the most is often the thing that we block ourselves from having. And for me, it really comes down to learning to deeply, deeply honor and love who you are at your soul essence. And let's admit, most women have not been raised and reared to really, really truly adore themselves at a deep, deep level. And so it can feel dangerous. It can feel scary to really put yourself out in that way and to allow yourself to be fully seen.
Okay, if you guys are watching the video of this on YouTube and you're not on the podcast, be in for a treat because you're going to get a dance party today with this podcast, because right now I am bringing on Vanessa and she is my dance party partner. We vibed together at a Feminine Business event and we were just vibing together the whole time. Like, our energy together is just so explosive. And I was like, girl, get on the podcast. Let's talk about some juicy little nuggets here today. So we're going to dive into the visibility factor, because this is something that all of us high achieving, heart-led leader women desire, because we have a story, we have a message, we have a movement. And when we feel like we are not being seen, heard, paid, the clients aren't flown in, like all these things, right? We feel like, ooh, what is it? Is there something wrong with me? Do I need to amplify myself in a different way? Like, and we start kind of questioning ourselves. So Vanessa is here today to talk about that like visibility factor and how to really pour your essence into your work, into your frequency, so that you attract the dream clients, attract all the abundance and all the juicy things. We're going to just dive in today. And Vanessa, she is Miss High Priestess, spiritual business coach. So we're going to have some like spiritualness added into a touch of this episode today. So welcome on, baby. Thank you for being here.
I feel like your voice is like literally a song. Like you speak in like sing song, and I'm like dancing the whole time you're speaking. I'm like, it's like she's making music in the intro.
I love that. Well, you did know that I was aspiring singer and actress, did you not?
Of course I did. I feel
Yeah,
this in
yeah.
your aura. I can see this all around you. Like, of course I knew that. I knew that without knowing that.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Well, thank you for tuning in today from Florida. At least we're in the same time zone today. I mean, this is actually really nice that we didn't have to be like, wait a minute, what's the time difference? And so this is just beautiful and wonderful. So I would like you to start the conversation off with just a little bit about you, about what you guide them through, just so people can get to know you a little bit more. And then we're going to dive into the visibility factor.
I really am a guide for spiritual entrepreneurs, which, let's be honest, isn't entrepreneurship spiritual for everybody.
Yeah.
It's really like, to me, one of the most sacred spiritual paths that you walk is the path of entrepreneurship and self-initiation in your gifts and sharing what you're really here to birth onto planet Earth. And, my brand is Starseed Collective, and Starseed Energy, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's really about souls who incarnate here into the Earth experience to help increase the vibration, to help lift up the energy field of Earth and everything that's really happening here. And whether or not you believe in star seeds, it doesn't really matter. It's really about just, do you believe you have a mission that can improve your life and other people's lives by your gifts and by what you are meant to deliver? And so I think for me, a big part of my work is just supporting women in that self-initiation to find their dharma, find their destiny path, and then support them in really staying the course to deliver at the highest degree of their essence and what their soul really, really wants to experience itself as here on planet Earth. So, just basic stuff.
Yeah.
Just basic stuff.
Yeah, just the little basic things, yeah, just do the strategy here, do the, but no, like you are the motherfucking strategy, and let's like birth out your full essence. Like that's what we do here. So, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so I want to dive into like the visibility factor, because this is something that a lot of us women, especially when we are growing, when we are evolving, when we are actually becoming the full highest versions of ourselves, identity shifting, all the things, we can kind of, I don't want to say block ourselves, but limit ourselves from the full visibility that we can attain at being at our highest vibration. So I'd like you to kind of like walk us through, like, what are some of the things that you see within your clients that are making them not fully visible? What ways do you express yourself and make yourself fully visible?
Yeah, it's so funny, right? Because the thing that we want the most is often the thing that we block ourselves from having. And we live on a polarity planet, right? So we're always kind of dealing with that contrast within ourselves and all around. And for me, it's really about just acknowledging that, you know, there is a self-initiation. There is a process of allowing yourself to be seen at the highest levels of visibility. And for me, it really comes down to learning to deeply, deeply honor and love who you are at your soul essence. And let's admit, like, most women have not been raised and reared to really, really truly adore themselves at a deep, deep level, right? I mean, if we adore ourselves too much, if we love ourselves too much, if we're too proud, if we're too iconic, right? Then there's a lot of that, there's repercussions to that. People sometimes don't love when you're in your shiniest space, in your shiniest essence. And so it can feel dangerous. It can feel scary to really put yourself out in that way and to allow yourself to be fully seen. And it's interesting that you mentioned aspiring actress and singer, because I actually had a music career in Los Angeles for 10 plus years. I recorded albums and I performed, and it was a big part of my background. And something I realized from that experience is that it's actually easier to put on a persona. I mean, obviously my art was my art, and I, as an artist, would perform and I was me, but you also step onto stage and you become something, right? You kind of allow yourself to become that star factor, that it factor. But as a coach, as a leader, as a visionary, you're not putting on a persona. You're not stepping into, a Broadway stage. You're not stepping onto a character, right? You're actually stepping into a higher version of yourself. And that can be very confronting. That can be really, really confronting to be like, okay, so now if I show myself at the highest levels of who I am and they don't like me, there's no way to say, well, okay, they didn't like my character. They didn't like the persona I was playing. It's no, they didn't like who I am at my highest essence. And so I think a lot of visibility is making yourself safe and honoring that it's not safe. It is scary. It is dangerous. You are going to have people who don't like you, who, don't appreciate your type of shine, your particular sparkle, who disagree with the way you do things or say things. And so it's really coming to terms with the fact that you deeply honor and love and respect yourself, and you can hold whatever comes from that.
Wow, this is bringing up so many things right now. I'm like, this is it. And of course, we both have like similar backgrounds. Like, that's why we're so magnetic towards each other, because we just get it. And like, when you're in the room with people who just like get you and just soak you up, like, yes, I get
Yeah.
you. Let's have a fucking dance party on the podcast. Like, I love that so much. And it's like that. Oh, you said something so good. It was like embracing the fact that it is scary to be yourself in your full caliber, right? Because as humans, as natural humans with a nervous system who wants to keep us safe, we want to fawn, we want to prove, we want to perform. And I can resonate with you so much about that, because as with our backgrounds, we can really morph and transform into anything. I could be whatever the hell you want me to be. I could do it right now on this stage, right? And it's like, wow, where we need to see that as with this gift that we have to perform, to share our message with the world, because let's be honest, like, we're magnetic as fuck, right? How can I now blend my truth and pure essence and who I am in with that, and not do it for the performance, not do it for the applause, right? Doing it for what is in our hearts and what we believe, no matter what people say, right? So what is one way that you've maybe overcome this? Because this is our journey, right? Like, we've all been through parts of our journey, and some might be further behind in their journey of like the fear of visibility. But like, for you, what did that journey look like? And really like shifting that performance to the power, to the truth, to your full expression.
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest things that was so liberating for me was to let go of looking good. Like there's such a need for women, or such a compulsion towards looking good, presenting ourselves in a way that people like, that is acceptable, that, I mean, it's part of our physiology, right? To be beautiful for the other species. I mean, there's so much that is biologically, physiologically, spiritually, emotionally kind of imbued in us, that there's a compulsion towards wanting to look good. And one of the most liberating things that I've done is let go of looking good. I love to express myself, right? I'm in the big pink dress and the sparkly hair and the whatever, but all of that is for me. All of that is because this is my self-expression, and I've let go of the expectation that anyone else will appreciate it, like it, have any kind of response to it that I expect. And instead, it's really just about, how do I want to express? How do I want to live inside of me? How do I want to experience myself? And when I let go of really caring how anybody else took that in, how that hit someone, or how that either triggered them or made them happy or anything in between, I just freed myself. I freed myself from really having an expectation that anyone else is responsible for the way that I feel about myself and the way that I want to present to the world, just through my own creative expression. And so I think one of the most liberating things you can do is let go of wanting to look good. Just look how you want to look, be who you want to be, self-express in the way that feels like, God and spirit and force and love running through you, because that's the vibration that fuels you and your soul and your chakra system. But let go of anybody else's response to it, and you will be a liberated woman.
Yes. And that liberated woman is really the key to visibility.
The
So
key.
let's talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
why is this the key? And I also want to bring something else to surface that you were saying is like the not caring what other people think that don't get you, and caring about yourself and knowing that the right people will see you for you and get you and understand you. And I feel like there's that like limbo period where we're like, well, but I want people to like me, but I want to serve these, and it's like, yeah, but you're performing. Yeah, but you are doing things at a diluted level, that you are not doing yourself a service, and you are doing others in your world a disservice by not being at your fully expressed level. And mm, something happened that opened my eyes to this, and I was like, I'm doing all the right things. And it was something that was reflected back to me where I was like, Renee, you are not in your full essence, and this is what happens. I just started laughing because I'm like, this was misalignment. This was me saying yes to an opportunity that at the time seemed like a right fit, but I wasn't who I was a couple months ago when I said yes to this opportunity. And I know who I am now, and I know who I'm serving now. So it was like that lag of like, yeah, you said yes to this thing, but will you say yes to this thing in the future if it's presented to you and the audience is not aligned? Because that hurts your visibility, and that makes you question if what you're doing is actually the thing, right? So let's talk about that, because I feel like there's that like grayish area, right? That we go through when we're like, okay, up leveling into this higher version of us. So can we expand upon that a little bit more?
Yeah, I come from a yogic background, a Kundalini yoga background. One of the teachings they have is around Bana. They call it Bana. And Bana is your self-expression. It's the way you dress. It's the way you present yourself to the world. So it could be anything from your hair to your jewelry to just really the way that you decide to show up and really embody your purest essence. And I think that ultimately, we don't think about the way that we show up as a spiritual practice, the way that we embody ourselves, adorn ourselves. We often just think of that almost like, oh, this is just me getting ready or getting dressed up, or we just, sort of refer to it in this way of like, I don't know, just happenstance in a way. But it's really actually a deep spiritual practice, the way that you show up, the way that you embody yourself, the way you adorn, the way you present, the way that you speak. And so it has to really be about how do you want to hear yourself? I think about this all the time, and I teach a lot around sound current. When I'm listening to myself, do I like what I'm saying? Do I like the sound of my own voice? Do I like the words that are coming out of my mouth? Does the vibration match who I am? And if it doesn't, then there's a disconnect, right? There's a performative aspect. This is something that's really amazing. Women have come into my world year after year, and with Kundalini Yoga, we do a lot of chanting, we do a lot of mantra. And so you're hearing your voice a lot. And so many women come into my world and they're like, I hate the sound of my voice. Like, oh, I wish I did, turn everybody else up. I don't want to hear myself. But a teaching that I really love to share with women is that when you don't love the sound of your own voice, there's a disconnect between who you are, that bana, how you're, creating and presenting yourself, to how you really, really are. And if there's a disconnect, you don't like the sound of your voice, you don't like the way that you are presenting in the space, then it's just about closing that gap between who you're pretending to be and who you really are, and really harmonizing those two aspects of yourself. Because once you feel like, I love what I'm saying, I love the sound of my voice, I love my message, I love the way that I present, none of the rest matters. And you really, any room, it stops being about, is this the right or wrong room? It's about, am I in the right space in myself? Am I actually connected to the vibration that is true and pure? And no matter what's going on around me, I'm like, I love this performance. It was my best performance because it was true. It was honest. It was who I am. And then let everybody have their experience of that, and let it be.
So good, so good. And it's like when you're in it and you own it and you know it, it's like, oh, then you know also like the right aligned opportunities are going to come to you and you're going to know what those right opportunities are, right? And I looked back, like I tried to revisit that day again, like what I shared, and it was my heart, it was my why. And I was like, I would not change a damn fucking thing.
Good. And that's the thing. You liked your performance. You liked the sound of your words. It was true and honest.
Mm,
And honestly, we want mixed reviews. That actually
mm.
means that there's a perspective, there's a point of view, there's something that people can grip onto and be like, I do or don't want to subscribe to what she's about. And we want
Mhm.
that, like it's so, again, ingrained, indoctrinated, and viewed in us to want to be liked, to want to be accepted, to want to be appreciated for who we are. But the staunch truth is that that is just not really going to be the reality if we do anything beyond the ordinary, beyond what, this kind of middle vanilla ground that is safe and secure. And let's face it, if we're in this world, we've departed safe and secure long ago. So it's time to just accept that, it's not safe, but we are liberated and free knowing that our version of who we are is inflappable no matter what.
So juicy, so good. Let's just dance about it for a minute because I was like, yeah. Oh, this is it. And it's like holding in those moments, and it's like you are doing something right. You are being you, and not everyone's going to like you. And that is a fucking phenomenal thing. That is when you know you are an embodied leader. When
Yes.
some people don't like you, you're like, yes, I did it. I did the thing. And I was like, I did it. I did the thing because for so long I was the people pleaser. I was the one that was like, just like me. And I was like, I don't have any bad experiences where people really didn't like me because guess what? I was trying to fawn. I was probably trying to fit in. I was probably putting on a performance when I didn't even realize it because my body and nervous system were trying to keep me safe, right? So, God, it's like, all right, so I
Yeah.
want you to share a personal moment where you had to step into the spotlight despite the discomfort when you were like really coming out of this like performance and getting into like your truth. When did that happen for you, and how did you lead yourself through that?
Yeah, I think really when I left, when I sort of closed my music career in the variation that it was in before, I still make music and I still create in that way. But when I sort of closed down the version of how I thought that was going to look, and I really came into the full expression of my leadership in yoga and Akashic Records and being a coach and doing all of these things that honestly were always sort of my destiny line. I've been doing it for my entire life. I feel like you have too. I feel like you've been a coach since probably you were like two. You were probably like coaching the other toddlers and I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm the first of five, so natural born
Yes.
leader. It makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I feel that totally for me. But I feel like once I sort of like closed that version and then started realizing, oh, okay, so now the performance isn't a performance, it's me and me. I think that that was really the time where I was like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna have to get really comfortable with being in front of people and realizing, and I think every teacher, every visionary leader, every yoga teacher, whatever you call yourself, when you look out on that audience, you see some people that there's like fireworks in their eyes and they're just loving what you're giving and they're just like lighting up. And then there's some that are like this, you know? And I think that there was just enough times of sitting and teaching yoga or guiding something or, you know, having those experience of seeing that mixed review in the audience and seeing people that were like either loving it and eating it up or like, I don't know, I don't believe in this. Like I don't think this is real, right? Like there's always those people that are skeptics and aren't just whatever. They're not they don't want your medicine. And so I think it was really just a gradual thing for me to realize, oh, this isn't about, you know, did you win over every single person in the audience? Did every single person have the experience you wanted them to have? It was more about, did I have the experience I wanted to have? And when I had the experience I wanted to have, meaning I was lit up from my teachings, I was lit up from what I guided, I was fully like, F yeah, that was amazing. That's all that I ever started to care about. That's all that I started to calibrate to, because the truth is you. And if you're looking out there for approval and for anyone else to tell you that your work moved them, then you are going to be really disappointed. Move yourself, move the energy through yourself, have the teachings move you. And when you move yourself, that is the gold standard for, you know, really just moving into that authenticity.
That is the gold standard. And it's like you were talking about like voice and like owning your voice and liking your voice. And when you speak your truth, there is something about your voice that changes the tonality, the way your body shifts, like because it's your truth, it's what you believe, it is the reason why you're here on this earth, right? And it's like once you light that fire, it's like addicting to it's addicting, right? Like you don't want to stop because you're like, this feels so good. It feels so good to be in this element. So it's like, it's almost like, yes, it took you this gradual time to get there, but with every time you were like owning it more and more, it's like, this is it. This is what it's like to be rooted in my power. And like, oh, and it's just always coming back to that, right? Because there's going to be moments where it's like, oh, I'm doing this next stretchy thing. So, right? So let's talk about that. Like, where you were maybe like launching a bold offer, or retreat, or showing up fully in your full expression, like leading some kind of event. Like, how did you guide yourself kind of through those moments because there's bigger visibility with like bigger things, right? So it's like, how'd you guide yourself through that?
You know what's so crazy? And this is actually so like counterintuitive. It is almost easier to go bigger than to go kind of halfway or medium. This has totally revolutionized the way I think about my business and my offers and everything that I do. Is I used to think like, oh, well, I want it to make sense and be palatable and like be really good for a lot of different type of people. And something that's happened to me in the last year or two is that I'm like, no, I want to go big. I want people who want to go big. I want to be like, we're doing this wild thing, and you're either the kind of person who wants to do something wild, something big, something out of the box and extraordinary with me, or it may not be a good fit. And so the crazy thing is that I realized that when we hold ourselves back from the full magnitude of our expression, that's when it's hard. But when you go full send, when you go full expression, when you go full delulu is the salulu, then it's so much easier. It's actually easier. And so that is the thing that I would love to impart to people is like, stop watering it down. Allow yourself to not be liked by people, not be picked by people, not be chosen, whatever, but go into the fullest expression of what it is that you want to create and let the people who are meant to find you there. And it is actually easier. And we think that it's the opposite. We think that the smaller thing is easier to maintain, but the bigger thing is actually easier in a lot of ways.
Oh my God. It makes so much sense that it's easier because you're channeling your energy into the right place, which is the right place is your full expression. It's the pure essence of you. So why wouldn't it be easier, right? And then that's when people see you in your full power and there's this like new frequency and where they're like, oh my God, yeah, that's my person. Oh my God, she's doing the big bold thing that I actually want to do. Let me get into her world, right? So it makes so much sense. And that's what makes you what? A category of one. That's what makes you what I like to say the headliner in your industry, the icon of your industry, because there's only one you. And when you own that, okay, and I feel like so many of us these days, we compare. Oh my God, there's so many people doing similar things, blah, blah, blah. There's only one you. And when you could channel that unique creativity and energy into your work, like it is easier because it's like, well, there's only one choice. There's only one Vanessa. There's only one Renee. Like, there's no like, oh, should I go with her or her? It's like, I obviously want to be in your world, right? Like, I obviously want to go paddleboard with you to go see dolphins at, the crack ass of dawn in the Salulu is the Delulu because like that's fucking fun and iconic. And it's like, why not bring women together and go look for like and make that a part of your experience, right? And like you said, like the wild side, right? And I love actually your current program that you have going on. It's a visibility program, right? The safari.
Yeah,
Like,
we're selling.
tell us about that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, one thing when we were just at an event together for our mutual mentor, and one of the things that I walked away with was more around this visibility, right? And really realizing like, oh, one of the best ways to be more visible in your work is to live a freaking awesome life and then shine the spotlight on that life. Well, it turns out that I'm actually already living a really epic life because I've been running this travel company for the last 13 years. We take people all over the world. It's like this is my first company with my husband, and we've been really blessed and privileged and honored to create like some of the most peak experiences on planet Earth and guide people into those experiences. So we're getting ready to lead an African safari, and we're leaving on Monday, actually, in just a few days. And I was like, wait a minute, why am I not running a program around this? Why am I not shining a spotlight on this epic opportunity, which is like a visibility project dream? And so I was like, okay, we've got to do a challenge. We've got to bring in this safari essence and what's the best thing to connect into this safari messaging and ideology. And I really started dropping in and I was like, okay, the thing that most women really struggle with is selling. They like our relationship with selling is just, oh my gosh, it's deep and it's vast and it's wide and it's so like imbued with, all kinds of like inner controversy, right? And so my feeling was like, why don't I use the metaphor of the wild and really help women to rewild their relationship with selling and get out into the savannah, get out there with the lions and the tigers and the elephants and the gorillas and like remember our wild nature, our wild essence and how beautiful it is when we get back to what is real and pure about us. And I think the reason so many women struggle with the idea of selling is because we've been indoctrinated into all this old ideology and consciousness around it that it just has to go. It's just ready to die. It's ready to go. Women are ready to step into a new version of selling, and sacred inviting is really what I think of it as. And so it was like, yeah, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, let's take this, this amazing visibility thing of going on safari. Let's pair it with the coaching and the selling and helping women to come into this amazing energy. And then let's just roll with it. Let's allow all the gifts that are here to be seen and witnessed to be seen and witnessed.
Oh my God. It was just so genius. I'm like, she's a cool chick. And then you have like all your like really AI curated like photos. And I'm like, you're so cool. Like, I just love it. I love your vibe. I love everything. And it's just so it's like you using your creativeness in your work, in your content. And it's like, okay, what you brought up was like a very incredible point. It's like you are shifting the paradigm for sales.
Yes.
So let's go into that because sales and visibility is like one and the same. It's like we want to be visible in order to get the sales, right? It's like, hello, we're business owners here. So we're not business owners. We are movement makers. We are the shifters in the world. Let me just clarify that.
Yeah.
So what do you see being this shift in the paradigm for selling?
Yeah, I honestly think it takes so much courage. It really comes down to being courageous and being willing to be the lighthouse for others when they aren't able to quite yet see that vision for themselves. Now, there's a fine line between holding the light on, shining the possibility for someone else, and doing the heavy lifting for them. And I think there's a subtle nuance that is really important in this because you still need to self initiate yourself. Women still need to choose that they're going to do this work, they are going to go on this journey, and they are going to invest in themselves and actually deliver on the thing they're committed to. So it's a very fine line for coaches, leaders, visionaries to figure out how to hold that bridge for them without holding responsibility for them. So that's one of the really big themes that I want to dive into with selling is that we have to be courageous enough to, again, let go of looking good. I can let go of looking good. Like if you think I'm too salesy or you think I want you, it's like, I want you to have the most amazing, miraculous, vibrant, fun-filled, joyous, rich life that you can have. And I'm willing to be a stand and a lighthouse for that, even before maybe you're ready to experience or be able to see yourself as that. And so to some degree, there is that sense of like holding that for people for a moment for them to choose it, but then not doing it in a way where it's getting them to do it, right? Like we're not getting anyone to do anything. We're illuminating the possibility and giving them the option to step into it. And a lot of women feel very, very uncomfortable doing that because they don't want the experience you had. Oh, she's too salesy, or she talked about this. When really you look back and you're like, no, I just tried to share with them my truth and what I see is possible for anybody if they want to do X, Y, and Z, or they, create their life in some way. And so it's like letting go of looking good is so helpful because when you let go of looking good, then you fall deeply into devotional service, which is I'm willing to be the lighthouse. I'm willing to shine this possibility. And then I'm also totally cool with your sacred yes and your sacred no. And all of it is allowed and all of it is honored. But I will always be that bridge for you to your next highest level. I always will be the courageous one to hold that for you and with you long enough for you to make a deep decision about whether you want to step into that or not. And so I think that sales, sacred inviting, is just one of the most spiritual, devotional, courageous acts we do as leaders.
Absolutely. And it's like, I love how you said like the choice, right? And I feel like in the coaching industry, especially because I have experienced this myself, and I've even went down that route before of like dealing with objections, handling objections, because like we see the highest version of people, so we want the best for them. So it's in our hearts to want to help and serve them. But it was out of integrity for me to try to convince you.
Yes.
Yes. The freedom of choice is everything. And when you can be that beacon, when you could be that lighthouse, when you could be the embodied leader that they're like aspiring to like be in your world and do these big things like you, it's like that is all you can be, nothing more. There should be no convincing, there should be no proving, there should be none of that energy, right? It's just all of like, this is who I am. You either want to be in it or not. And like, I'm okay if you're going to say no. And I'm great if you're going to say yes. Like, it's okay either way. And I feel like that's a huge shift because there's the scarcity mindset and there's the abundance mindset in sales, right? So it's like there's that shift. Okay, here's the abundance mindset. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to invite you in, but I have no time for you telling me XYZ, this is why you can't do it, and I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to go here. This is the higher version, right? So yeah, like what does that look like for you? I want to know like in depth now. What does that look like for you when you are selling, like the actual conversations you're having with people in the DMs or wherever, you're having these conversations. What does that look like?
Yeah, I really, it's so funny because I think we've been told that there's two planes of selling. There's either the masculine, lean in, get the sale, get 'em version, or there's the completely lean back, feminine sales version where we almost sometimes forget to actually invite them in. And obviously that's the extreme, right? I'm anchoring in the deep polarity of what a lot of us are familiar with. But what I really love is that there's a whole range of ways to sell to people because everybody's different. And so for you, Renee, I might sell to you in a way where it's like, girl, let's get on the dance floor. Like let's have the best time ever. Let's like turn up the tunes and let's dream about what we're gonna do. And for you, the way that I quote unquote sell or invite you in could be completely different than someone else that I know needs a little bit more tenderness, needs a little bit more presence, needs a little bit more safety and holding them and honoring and being in the tenderness of big choice, right? And so, what I would love for people to understand is that selling is about being very, very optimized in the ranges of ways that you can hold people in a big moment of a big decision. And can we stop thinking that it's this speed or that speed? Because when we do that, we lose all of the nuance and the range of how people need to be held and supported in their moment of choice. And so my conversations look a whole range of ways. Sometimes I know that someone needs me to be a little bit more firm with them. Like, hey, this is your choice to make. And like, I honor and respect it. I can feel energetically. They just need to have it put back on their plate for them to choose it powerfully. Sometimes people need to feel invited into it where I'm like, hey, I really think this would be great for you. It has to be honest because guess what? God loves the truth. And the same way that you said there's a frequency that runs through you when you're being authentic, God loves the truth. So when you're selling to someone and it's from a place of like, well, this teacher said I should be this way and this teacher said I should be that way, then you have literally exited the divine devotional space of holding the light for someone. And you've just put a script on it. Now, my big thing is F the template. F the template, build a temple, build a space where you can devotionally pour into it. And so I might sell to you completely differently than someone else because I can feel vibrationally what you need from me in that moment. And I will show up as that and then still allow you to choose because you might not be available to choosing it yet, but I'll hold the space that I think is most supportive for you. And so what I would love for coaches, people to understand, visionary leaders, is like, can we bring range back? Can we bring nuance back? Can we rewild the selling process?
Yes. Oh my God. If they got anything from this today, that was a juicy fucking nugget right there. Like, ooh, baby, dance party. That was so fucking good. Wow. I mean, this is the new paradigm. This is, and you know what this is? This is being authentic as fuck. This is being so authentic and so genuine. And us as coaches, we know our people. If you're a good ass coach, you know your people. You know that everyone handles things differently. Everyone receives things differently. Everyone has a different past. Everyone has a different personality. And if you're able to navigate that through selling, there you go.
Check
Like,
this.
yes, there you go. So, and that's like, oh my God, how spiritual is that? To be honest. God loves honesty. Like, yes, yes.
And it is
So,
so spiritual. You know, I think this is why I love entrepreneurship. This is why sales, especially to me, is it's such a deep devotional act. I'm like, I'm willing to be able to hold whatever kind of shape you need me to hold for you in this moment to make it safe for you to do whatever you need to do next. And I think there's so many coaches out there that are just like, well, you're either in or you're out. You either are on my page or you're out. And it's like, that just isn't my style. And I actually think that there's a rigidity in that that leaves out a lot of the humanity. You know, people are navigating real things. We're navigating big financial choices, big emotional choices, big identity shifts. There's so much in that moment of deciding who you're going to be. And so for me as a leader, at least, I like the idea of being able to hold the complexity with them. I think that that's a beautiful devotional act of service.
oh my God, you have my mind going in a million directions. And I'm like, I have to invite you back on here to talk about this next thing, which we'll talk about after because I'm like, oh, my brain is going there right now. And it comes in terms of like, okay, okay, I'm going to talk to you about it after because my brain is like, woo, okay, okay.
Chapter
So, yeah, chapter 2, stay tuned. It's going to be good and juicy, and it's going to be about the new shift in the coaching industry. Okay, I just see it. I see it. We're going to be talking about it. So if you want to know
Yes.
what's going to be coming in hot in the coaching industry and you want to be one of the first in that blue ocean, baby, you're going to want to listen to the next episode. Okay, so we're just plugging that there for a minute. Okay, okay. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I want to ask you, but I feel like we hit so many juicy nuggets today. I feel like we got to just like close out here on something just like a safety practice. Let's just give something to whoever's listening right now, the safe to be seen and visible in their pure essence. So what would you like to bring to the table right now to help just like close this out?
Yeah, there is this transition from your lower chakras, right? The lower triangle, we refer to it in Kundalini yoga, and it's the first three chakras that are really those chakras that make you feel safe to be seen in the world. And I think that honestly, recognizing that there is a journey, there's an adventure, there's a self-initiatory process of moving up into the heart chakra, which is the portal into your upper expression and upper dimensions, right? Into the upper triangle, as we say in Kundalini yoga. It's about actually honoring that that is a process. So when you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm up against something, I want to make that next move in myself. I want to express in those higher levels, but yet there's something that is holding me back or making me feel unsafe to do it. You actually do need to tune in to those kind of like self-preservation aspects of yourself and be kind and be supportive and nurture that and really give yourself the grace and the space to move through that process of coming up into your higher limits, your upper limits and your upper dimensions. And so the safety practice really is just being aware that what you are doing is a process, and that if it doesn't feel natural at times, it's because you are growing, you are changing, and you are going through the portal of becoming the next highest expression of yourself. And so be gentle, be loving, be kind with yourself, and surround yourself with other women who are activated at those higher frequencies so that you can normalize living and experiencing yourself in those upper dimensions.
1000%. That is such a beautiful way to go out. And it's like, yes, embracing this next part of you is uncomfortable because it's like you've never been there before, but it actually you have. It's like coming home to yourself at the same time, right? So it's this like full circle moment. And it's like we're constantly in that evolution. So to just honor that and have that awareness around it, that is the most beautiful thing that you could do for yourself and give yourself grace in the process. So what a beautiful way to close out. Vanessa, thank you so much for coming on here today with your beautiful self. And God, I'll see you next time, girl.
Oh my God. Thank you everybody for having me. Bless you.
I love you, girl. And whoever's tuning in right now and you want to connect with us, you're like, oh my God, I got to just tell these women like something that just landed for me today, or anything you want us to expand upon in the next conversation, please reach out to us via DM. We will pop our Instagrams below in the description. So we'll see you there soon. Bye, lovey.